And we are back. We're back with the T-6. It's a beautiful morning. There's really no wind to speak of. And we're just going to do some sport flying. We're going to do a wheel takeoff for you there. More or less scale takeoff. We're going to bring the gear up. Flaps come up. Timer started. There you go. Okay. Basically, it's a post-takeoff checklist that I run mentally. Especially when flying an aircraft with retracts. But in any event, hey, we got a beautiful day. Keep the sun on our back, and we're going to basically show some sport scale maneuvers. And one of the things I want to show for sure is going to be the how to combat the dreaded bunny hop, okay, that the T-6s seem to be plagued with. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to show some touch and goes today. So I'm bringing the gear down. I'm at half flaps. There's a gentle breeze coming from behind me, so now I'm now at full flap. Okay, we're lining up for final over the scenic Calico Mountains. We're at about 40, maybe 30% throttle to get over the threshold. We're going to bring it up to 40%. We're going to go ahead and relax the elevator just a little bit. We're going to control the sink rate with the throttle. Okay, as we get closer to the ground, there we are. There's a wheel. There's a wheel. Okay, that's called a wheel landing. We kept her on the mains and we were steering with the rudder. We're going to clean up the flaps, clean up the gear. Now we're flying again. Okay, so we had full flaps and we're going to do that again. Okay, so the gear's coming down. Okay, we're at half flap right now. Now we're at full flap. Okay, we're lining up for our final. Again, we're over the Calicos. We're wings level. We're looking good with our sink rate to hit our predicted touchdown point. I'm rolling the throttle on to arrest it and to give us some more thrust. Okay, we're going to go ahead and lower the throttle just a bit, but now we're going to arrest that sink with throttle and with elevator. And there's a bounce. There's a ground loop. Okay, so this is kind of an instructional video, so there you go. So we have a little bit of a ground loop. Okay, and that shows you what a ground loop is. The aircraft got caught, if you will, in the thicker grass, and she spun around, and that happens to full scale all the time. Well, I say all the time. It hopefully it doesn't happen all the time, but we'll see. We're gonna fly the tail and get her up off the ground, gear up, flaps up, and we're on the timer already. So okay, so that was a ground loop. So hey, we're demonstrating all kinds of cool stuff, aren't we? Anyways, there we are. We're gonna throttle down. We're gonna bring the gear down. You saw the gear come down. We're at half flap. We're bringing her around to final, or yep, we're on base, turning final. Okay, we're at full flap now, and we're still about 40% throttle. And let's go ahead and start bringing that throttle down. We're gonna bring the throttle down. We're gonna go wings level as we near the touchdown. Where you touch down, roll her on the mains. She's bouncing a little bit. There's some divots out there. Gear comes up, flaps come up, 2 stages worth of flaps, and we're flying her again. Okay, so that's how you would combat the dreaded bunny hop. And basically, it's a very controlled and measured flight regimen. Really, I mean, that's all it is. It's all about controlling it with the throttle. It's about controlling it with the elevator. You're controlling and arresting your sink rate with the throttle, and then you're managing your pitch with the elevator. So we're going to go ahead and do that one more time. We're bringing the gear on in, half flaps coming in. We're about half throttle right now, by the way. That helps to control the ballooning, plus I'm actually working on the ballooning with the elevator. Okay, we're now at full flap. We're still about 30% throttle. We're lining up. We're over the Calicos. We were sinking a little bit too much, so I brought the throttle back on. Now we're gonna relax the elevator, and we're gonna go ahead and roll the throttle on, and we're gonna go ahead and do basically a 3-pointer. Okay, grass is getting a little thick in there, so she tends to want to get snagged a little bit as we're bringing her through. But you're getting the idea. Really, in order to get some consistent landings, you have to be consistent in your approach. And that's the biggest thing, okay? And you can see how wet it is out here because you can see the tire tracks coming through the dew. You can see how how much water is on the aircraft itself. Okay, so just wanted to show you. Just there you go. We got right at 5 minutes. Just wanted to show you some various approach techniques. We actually showed you a ground loop in there. Added bonus. Okay, showed you a ground loop. So basically, you get the idea. A lot of folks have heard of a ground loop, but no one's ever seen one. Okay, that was a ground loop. Okay, we got a landing in there with a little bit of a bunny hop, and kind of worked our way through controlling that. We're gonna see how much battery we've used. So we plug in our handy dandy battery charger, or our battery EOS Sentry, and I don't know if you can see that, we're at 35%. 35%. So there you go. So hey, this plane's a miser. We're gonna unplug the battery, unplug our battery meter, and there you go. Okay, battery's unplugged, transmitter goes off. Okay, all right, so there you go. So I hope this is informative. I hope it's kind of fun, but again, just sort of showing you some various techniques on how to fly the T-6. Yeah, it can be a handful, but Horizon has done a really good job in designing in some things to mitigate some of the bad habits that I think is endemic across the board for all T-6s, or at least for the most part anyways. A lot of folks have shied away from them for the same reason they've tried to shy away from P-40s. There are some designs that just don't translate very well, to be honest. There are a few good flying P-40s out there. There's not many, okay? There are a few good flying T-6s, AT-6s out there. There aren't many. This is definitely one of the better flying, if not the best flying T-6 out there. There's wingtip washout. It's got a very light wing loading, and it has AS3X on board, so it has a 3-axis stabilizer on board. So there's a lot of things that are feeding into the way this aircraft handles. As you can see, she ground looped, but even in the ground loop, she was still pretty controllable. We talked through, 3-4 different approaches, and you'll notice that on all those approaches, we were consistent. We were consistently hitting the same point or thereabouts on our approach. We were lining up, we're using the same throttle settings, we're managing our sync rate with throttle, we're managing our forward airspeed a bit with the elevator. There's both of those factors combined to make a good approach. Once you get her on the wheels, you go ahead and really relax that elevator. You relax the elevator, you steer with the rudder, steer her on down center line, or the center line of whatever field you choose. Just keep steering it down the center line in a straight path, and then go ahead and get her off the ground. What else? Oh, we got into a little bit of a hop, and I showed you basically what I did was I flew the plane all the way until it stops. That's it's not much harder than that. You fly the plane until it stops, basically. So I think because I'm flying it, I think I relaxed the elevator a little bit to take that pressure off, take that dynamic bounce out, because it's a dynamic bounce, an oscillating kind of bounce. So I took out one of the factors leading to that, which is the elevator. So I relaxed the elevator. I kind of jostled the throttle just a bit. You don't just want to kill the throttle, because that could make it worse. So you want to kind of bring the throttle up just a little bit, then bring it down. Once you catch the plane with the throttle, then you bring it down, and that arrests the hop. I hope all of that makes sense, but that's essentially what's going on. So in any event, hey, thanks for coming out to the field with me today. There's many more videos of this fine plane coming up. I'm just going to keep shooting while I fly, because that's basically what I do. So thanks for checking in. Again, thanks for joining me out here. Blue skies, everybody. Happy landings all. Cheers.